carry, in the United States, we carry a weapon or have a weapon because of the rights granted to us by the U.S. Constitution. You know, Legal Shield, we grant people access to the legal system when they don't have that access, whether it's financial or whether it's, just knowledge. And I think I agree with Kyle that having a weapon, not being trained, is even more dangerous than not having a weapon at all and not being able to defend yourself. Because there's nothing worse than someone who has it because they have the right to have it, but is not trained to use it in any particular situation. And that's how innocent bystanders get injured, right? But you know,
the magic word there escalates. You've escalated from an argument to a fist fight to a gun to death. You know what I mean? So.
And you know, Erica, we see that all the time.
Right.
You know, most of the things that we see, most of the tragedies that we see, start out innocently enough, but escalate. One, because of circumstances that are beyond someone's control, but more importantly, it's circumstances that they don't have control of. So they don't have access to attorneys. You know, the power, disparity between maybe the law enforcement officer and the individual. You know, if someone just had the legal right to say to the officer, I'd like to call my attorney in this situation, how many times would that de-escalate a situation? The officer understands that everybody has the Miranda rights, whether they're given that right or not verbally. They have the right to call their attorney if they feel threatened. They have the right to utilize the legal system. It's just that most people don't have access to the legal system. Most people don't have the awareness to be able to get that access immediately. What Legal Shield has done is we've given everyone the ability right from your phone, and we all have our phone. I mean, that's one thing that we carry with us all the time. But if you had the ability to pick up your phone, tap a button on an app, and 24/7 in an emergency situation, get access to an attorney, have an attorney on the line. So in a situation where you are threatened or you feel threatened, you could say either officer or, this is my attorney. This is my legal representation. Now, from that moment, you are removed from the situation. Your legal representation is stepping in front of you, in front of that situation, okay? I've seen so many things happen that, I want to scream at the TV and just say, if you only had Legal Shield, if you only had the ability to get access to your rights. And then, we have a gun owner's plan, because even though the U.S. Constitution grants us the right to carry a weapon, okay, and you have excellent guys like Kyle out there who are teaching you how to use the weapon and how to conduct yourself, in a professional manner with that weapon. Things happen in between, and when those things go south, that's when you need to have something instantaneously on your side. You need to be able to hit the phone. You need to be able to either get your advice, consultation, or have somebody defending you right then. It's not even going to keep you out of jail. It's going to keep a situation from escalating to the point where it gets beyond anybody's control. And we see that happen all the time. So
I agree 100%.
In a nutshell, that's what we do with legal.
I agree 100%. Actually, one of the biggest parts of my concealed weapons class is don't say anything if you ever get into a defensive situation. The worst thing that can happen is your lawyer fighting your case and the statement that you made on the scene when you were amped up and not in your right mind. That's actually one of the biggest points that I drive home. So I'm glad to hear you say it.
Yeah. Well, look, anything you can say, can and will be used against you in the court of law. Okay.
Absolutely.
Even though the questions may sound innocently enough, where are you coming from? Where are you going? Why are you here? You don't have to answer those, because anything that you say, and it could be in a traffic stop situation where you innocently say, I just got a phone call and looked away for a second.
Ooh.
Okay, that's going to be used against you. You know, I just saw something out the window and I looked away for a second. Okay, these are all incriminating statements that you've made to the law enforcement officer. They're going to take those statements and use it against you. You know,
Absolutely.
just like Kyle said, the one thing we need to be aware of is that in a situation like that, you know, you conduct yourself in a respectful manner. You want to de-escalate any situation. But then again, you don't want to volunteer any information, right? You don't want to volunteer anything that can be used against you. You know, officer, I have a weapon in the vehicle. Well, if you didn't ask for it, like Kyle said, that is relevant to, you know, if he says, do you have a weapon? Yeah, you have to disclose that. But the one thing that we do is with our Legal Shield memberships, I believe that anyone who owns a firearm, whether they conceal carry or not, needs to have some sort of a legal protection, okay? It's great that we as citizens of the United States, those of us who choose to carry, are, you know, putting ourselves in a position that we're going to defend not only ourselves, but we're going to defend the people in our community if something goes south. If we try and de-escalate something to the point where we've done everything we can and someone is still coming at you, okay, then there may or may not be a time to use it. Or if you see someone who is, you know, who's a shooter and they're shooting up citizens and you're a concealed carry person and you've got the training to stop that act from killing anybody else or harming anybody else, it may not be your obligation, but if you're going to carry and be a concealed carry person, it might be your, you know, you might feel the need to do something like that. You know, any situation that gets out of control, you know, is going to be a legal situation. If somebody gets shot, if you just pull your weapon out, it's going to be a legal situation. Okay, you're going to need someone on your side. You know, one of the things in Florida, you know, some of the areas that you're prohibited from carrying a weapon. One is a sports event. You can't carry a weapon inside of a sports event. You know, you can't carry a weapon into a bar where they're serving alcohol. But in Florida, you could have a restaurant and 10 feet away, you could have a bar. What happens if you get up from your chair and you walk to a bathroom and you got to cross in front of the bar and someone sees your shirt get flipped up and they see that you're carrying? Now, instead of concealed carrying, you're open carrying. If somebody sees that, okay, that's a situation that you could be, you know, it's an illegal situation.
Yep.
You know, what are your rights in that situation? You know, what do you need to do? Okay, if now somebody calls the police and they come in and, you know, they're going to stop you. So all of these things, you know, what if you have a question? I'm going to drive from Florida to Colorado and I have a weapon in my vehicle and I'm going through states. What are my rights carrying that weapon through all the states? Okay, with Legal Shield, one of the things that we do is give everyone, first of all, unlimited consultation. You can pick up the phone 5 times a day, you know, and ask questions and never be charged for that because it's all part of your subscription membership. You know, if you're buying or selling, what kind of contract, what kind of agreement do you need to have with that other person to make sure that if they get it and they go out and create an incident, is that going to come back to you? You know, so these are legal things that maybe people don't think about, but, you know, you need to be very, very aware of stuff like this. But one of the most important things, I think, is that with our legal plan, it dovetails with our family plan. So we have a family plan that covers you as an individual, civil lawsuit defense, contract document, getting your will, healthcare power of attorney. You know, if you're going to be carrying, and I think it's very important that you have your estate planning in place. You have your will, your healthcare power. You may be defending yourself, but what happens to your family if you get shot and killed? Okay, so we're going to cover all of that for you. But when you add on our gun owner's plan to that, now you're getting criminal trial defense. you're getting the ability to get an attorney 24/7 immediately if something happens. You know, I use an example. If somebody breaks into my home and I fire 2 shots, one of them kills the person breaking into my home. The other one goes through a window and kills my neighbor walking his dog.
Oh my.
Okay. Could that happen? Absolutely. Was it my intent to shoot my neighbor? No. Am I going to be held criminally liable for that? Maybe not. But civilly, do you think that they're going to sue me because I did? Absolutely.
Yes.
So these are the unknowns that can come out. So I'll turn it back to you.
Well, I was going to go back to Kyle because since we have the benefit of actually having a law enforcement officer, there came an issue of, and I see these videos where people get stopped and they don't want to answer questions. So when you get stopped, what do you have to do? Because I was looking this up, and to my understanding, if they ask you your name and your address or ask you for your driver's license and you refuse, you are basically now can be put under arrest. But you clarify that for me.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much got it. If you get pulled over, you want to be as, I want to say, forthcoming as possible. I mean, your name, I wouldn't say, they probably won't ask you for your address, but your name, who you are, your license, your registration, your insurance. You do have the right to ask what you've been pulled over for. And they also can respond with, I need your license and registration to verify who you are, and then we can go from there. So, I mean, it's one of those things where they do eventually, within the traffic stop, have to tell you why you were pulled over. But you do have to, yes, they do at some point.
Eventually.
Right. And you see a lot of, I call them bad officers that kind of, have you wait until the last minute. When you get the ticket, you find out what you did wrong. And again, I tell people too, is that's not your time to argue. You're gonna have your day in court just like anybody else. I've gotten tickets before, obviously, and even being law enforcement, police officer pulls me over, license, registration. How you doing, officer? What did I do wrong? I'll be right back. Dang, okay, all right, buddy. And so he goes, he does his thing, and I know when he runs my name, he's gonna find out all my stuff is blocked out. So, he knows I'm law enforcement. He comes back with a ticket, 42 and a 35. Slow it down. Have a good day. You were speeding, and that's it. I mean, like I said, there's good officers, there's bad officers. Officers that are having good days and they come up to you and they chop it up, and then you got officers that are having bad days and they're looking to get anybody. So, it is what it is. I take it all with a grain of salt and I just keep it moving. But it's all about your demeanor. I feel like the calmer you are, I'm naturally a calm person, but the calmer you are during the traffic stop, during the encounter period with police, the better the outcome is going to be for you. So, I leave it at that.
Yeah, because that was my main point. This isn't your time to try to win a debate.
Nah.
This is not the time to try to win a debate. So I have actually been pulled over and called the police because I was afraid.
Mm-hmm.
A situation where I was on a dark road going to my friend's house while she was babysitting, and somebody was behind me really close, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna move to the left. That person moved to the left. I was like, oh, this is creepy. I'm gonna make a U-turn, and then that person made a U-turn, and then eventually he turned on his lights, and I said, do you know? I thought someone was trying to kill me. You understand? Like,
yeah, that's
so. I write my letters. I've seen things that happen, and I write my letters, or I call, or whatever, but I can't go toe to toe with a man with a gun. So
right.
My main bottom line for people is, if they pull you over, even if they snobby, nasty, don't talk, don't matter, give them what they want so they can go.
Right.
It's not the time to be like, what you pull me over for?
Right.
This is not the time. You cannot win. You cannot win.
I'll tell you a story. I was like probably 9-10 years old. And this was like early to mid 90s in New York. And I'm from Long Island. And my mom and I, we were out kind of far on the island visiting my godmother. And we were on our way home. And there's like a dark, windy road. It's probably like 5 or 6 miles before you can get on the Long Island Expressway to get back to where I'm from, to get back to Queens. And so we're on this long, windy road. You know, this cop comes up behind us and puts his lights on. You know, my mom made that cop follow us for like 4 miles before she pulled over. She just didn't feel comfortable. And it was around the Rodney King, you know, LA riots time, you know, like that time period. And I remember it being in my head, and I was, you know, 9, maybe 10 years old. And I'm like, Mom, you tripping.
I don't think we can do that today, though. I don't think we would make it 4 miles.
Mom, we went going 4 miles. And so it was a Suffolk County sheriff, and he comes up and he was heated. He said, "Man, what are you doing? Did you not see my lights?" She's like, "You wasn't gonna pull me over on that dark road back there." And it just kind of, when you were telling me about your story, it's like the same thing, you know. You know what I mean? It's a scary time, you know what I mean? It's never, especially all the things we see in the news and the media, especially the information that we're privy to all around the country now. It's not just like your local area. We don't just hear about Orlando, you know what I mean? Everybody hears about everything as it happens.